Hi, I'm Joanna. I've been on Mounjaro for the last 18 months and I've lost 130 pounds. This video is going to go through all the things that I wish someone had told me before I took my first injection. So when I first started Mounjaro, I was absolutely desperate for something to work. I had considered absolutely everything, including gastric sleeve surgery, but I knew the problem was always in my head. It wasn't something that a physical alteration was going to fix for me. But with Mounjaro being so new and these GLP-1s being so new, there were a lot of unanswered questions that I had. I was generally scared about the side effects, what was going to happen to me, but I was in a position where I felt like the risk was worth the reward in this case. And the result is that 18 months later, I'm on 7.5 milligrams, so nowhere near the top titration dose, and I've lost 130 pounds and changed my entire life. So in this video, I just really want to share with you guys 11 of the things that I find have been the most useful and the things that I wish someone had told me when I started this journey. 1, to put my mind at ease, and 2, to set me up for success. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's start out with the first thing. Does it hurt? No, it does not hurt. Obviously, I can only speak from my own personal experience. I have been doing this for 18 months. I take my injection twice a week. I have never felt any pain, and I have done it in all of the injection sites. My first one I actually got my husband to do for me because if you're like me, it's quite foreign injecting yourself with something. I took it in the front of my thigh and I never felt any pain from day one. Occasionally I will see a little bit of blood come out, but it's very few and far between, and even when it does, it's not painful. So I hope that puts anybody that's thinking about it, I hope it puts your mind at ease a little bit. Second, side effects. Side effects are definitely real. Gastrointestinal issues, pancreatitis, sulfur burps, which are absolutely disgusting to be honest. They are definitely real, but they can be managed through your diet. So I have found whenever I've got side effects, which hasn't been much over the past 18 months, but it's been related to nights when I've been eating not so well. So when I'm eating high fatty foods, that tends to cause more gastrointestinal issues. As I've switched my diet to more high fibre, high protein food, those issues have become less and less. And in fact, for the past year, I would say I've not suffered from any side effects. And I do go out, I have a good time, I eat badly some nights, I drink alcohol. The side effects are very, very minimal, to the point where I don't even think about them anymore because they don't exist for me. So if you are worried about side effects, the one tip I would give is keep away from high fatty foods, deep fried foods, things like that. Stick to leaner proteins and try to get some fibre into your diet, such as raspberries and blackberries. That will keep you regular. So number 3, on the subject of diet, change your diet from day one. I wish someone had told me that. When you start taking Mounjaro, you will not want to eat anything. Not that you don't want to eat anything, you just don't have the craving for it. You don't have the craving to go and cook yourself big meals or anything. It was very, very foreign to me when I first started. But because you don't want to eat anything, you're eating very, very low calories. So I think when I started, for the first month or so, I was eating like 800 calories a day and just wasn't hungry at all. But that meant I was losing muscle, I wasn't building any lean muscle, and I wish someone had told me that from day one, just try and stick to high protein, eat a lot of fibre, that'll keep all the side effects at bay, and if you do that, you're kind of setting yourself up for success further down the line. Alright, so this one kind of goes hand in hand with diet. Start exercising from day one. Now, when I started on Mounjaro, I was already going to the gym. I've always exercised, but I always thought exercise for weight loss meant running on a treadmill or on a cross trainer for 45 minutes and just torturing yourself. That is not what it means. When I say start exercising, I mean get a set of at-home dumbbells, 2 kilos, 1 kilo, whatever you can manage, and just start lifting some weights. Because the key to success with this diet is about changing our whole body composition. If you're like me, I was a very, very high body fat percentage, I think over 60% when I started. For women, we want to be maximum 30%. And when you have a high body fat percentage, you have more cravings to eat, your metabolism's slower. So by lifting weights, we're sort of improving our metabolism, we're also improving our lean muscle mass. Your shape will change so much when you start lifting weights. It's absolutely unbelievable the amount of inches you will lose when you start lifting weights. But I wish someone had told me to do that from day one, because the number one thing that I always think is, with this whole journey, is I wish I started doing it earlier. I wish I'd known about this before. So from day one, start picking up some weights. All right, point 5, titration. So the titration schedule for Mounjaro is that every 4 weeks you will increase your dose. You start at 2.5, you go to 5, 7.5, 10, 12.5 and 15. Now that means within about 6 months you are at the highest titration dose you can get to. I did a lot of research before I started on this because as soon as I knew it was working, I knew that was a window opening for me and I had to get it right because nothing had ever felt like this for me before. Now, it's very tempting to rush up the doses quickly because you have this feeling of suppressed hunger, you're losing weight very, very quickly, so you rush up the doses. But the problem is with Mounjaro, it starts to wear off. Your body starts to get used to it being there, to your receptors getting these hormones coming through to them, and over time, that appetite suppression wears off. So if you rush up the doses to number 15, and you get to a point where that has worn off, that appetite suppression, and you've not learned any new habits, you have nowhere to go. You're kind of screwed, to be honest. So what I would say about titration is you want to keep your dose as low as possible for as long as possible. What I did was, at the start, I did move up from 2.5 to 3.75 to 5, and I've kind of stuck between 5 and 7.5 for the majority of my time. I do split my dose. I have a whole video on that if you guys want to see it, but that has stopped me going away up to 15 milligrams. And that kind of has a twofold effect. So one, you don't get as many side effects. You learn how to actually deal with hunger cravings without having the overwhelming feeling of having to eat. I mean, I've described it as being like you're starving and there's a buffet in front of you and you're trying not to eat the buffet every single day. That's how it used to feel for me. So it takes away that, but you do start to feel a little bit hungrier and you learn how to deal with that over time. But also it has a sort of mental cushion for you. So the scariest thing for me is that I'm going to put this weight back on. I lived with this weight for over 30 years. I never want to go back to the way I was before. I never want to feel the way that I did before. So I have a mental cushion that if things get really bad, I still have another 7.5 milligrams that I can go up if I need to. And having that takes a lot of the stress and fear of putting all that weight back on. I know that I can fall back to this. So I purposely try to keep my dose as low and go as slowly as I possibly can. That is going to give you the very best chance for success at this. It's also cheaper. Okay, point 6. So you can live a happy, joyful life on this medication. The couple of things that I have experienced since being on it is I've been out with friends, I have danced in heels for 6 hours at a time without falling over, I have had late night kebabs, I have climbed mountains. It has completely changed my life, but the way that it's done that is I have reframed how I celebrate life and how I live my life. Before, how I would celebrate my life is with a massive takeaway on a Saturday night. But all of a sudden, when you start on Mounjaro, that disappears. You don't have that craving for it anymore. So you have to think, okay, well, what am I going to do now? So the first thing I actually done was find my skincare routine. And I found a lot of joy in that and pampering myself that way and spending time that way. But that has progressed into a lot of physical activity. One of the best moments I have had on this journey was with my husband when we climbed our first Munro. If you don't know what that is, well, it wasn't our first Munro, I've done them when I was a kid, but our first Munro as a couple. Munro is a big mountain in Scotland, and we did that, and I would never have been able to do that without this. So don't see starting this as some kind of punishment. See it as opening the door to your new life. Point 7, be careful who you tell at the start. So for me, I knew there were a lot of assumptions about these medications. People were lazy, they were a cheat's way out, so easy to fix it. That is absolutely not what I believe personally. I believe that we're all running a race here, and finally when I took these medications, I'm at the starting line with everybody else, not 20 paces behind, which is how I view it. I had a hormone deficiency. However, there are a lot of assumptions about these, and whether people are, believe those things or not, you as the person taking it, or certainly me, I was worried about what people would think about these. And I knew this was going to fix this problem that I had, and I didn't want anything to undermine that, even if that thing undermining it was just me in my own head thinking people were thinking things about me. I had to put myself first, and you should put yourself first. Give yourself the best chance for being successful here, because you might not get another chance. So I told very close family about them, obviously my husband, and I kept it quiet until I launched this YouTube channel. So just over a year, and that's when I lost all of my weight, because let's be honest, it's absolutely nobody's business until you choose to make it their business. So I would say set yourself up for success, tell those that you're confident will help you be successful. Number 8, the emotional changes. The emotional changes are crazy that come with this. Now, I've lost weight quite a few times in the past, 5 or 6 stone, so 60 to 70 pounds at a time. I have never felt emotional change like I have with this medication. At 130 pounds, I think that's such a significant amount of weight. I have had serious emotional breakdowns, certainly in the last couple of months, as I've started to deal with being overweight for such a long time. The emotional changes aren't just bad, they are the highest of highs. The freedom you feel not worrying about getting into an airplane, sitting in a hairdresser chair, being able to cross your legs, running on a treadmill. I never thought I would run on a treadmill. Now I hate running, but I do it anyway because I couldn't do it before. But there is a lot of emotional baggage that you carry when you're overweight. And I didn't realise that your brain kind of locks that out. And once you lose the weight, it starts to process it. So I mean, I'm getting emotional now, but just be ready for the emotional change that comes with it, and be ready to deal with that when the time comes. Like I say, the highest of highs, but there's also this emotional change that happens in your brain that I certainly didn't expect, and nobody told me about it. Okay, so number 9, you will feel the freedom before you or anybody else sees it. So the magic of this medication is not the number on the scale. It's actually the freedom you feel in your mind. For me, whenever I did anything, it would rotate around food. So even our holidays, our vacations, I would always think about where we're going to eat, what we're going to eat. We went away for my husband's birthday. I started in the April, we went away for my husband's birthday in the June. It was the first time we had been away anywhere, and I had been able to enjoy the moment because I wasn't thinking about what we were going to eat. And even more basic story than that, I think it was week 2 or 3, and I was sitting having a cup of toast and jam Yorkshire tea because I loved it. I would have it in the afternoon to try and stave off my hunger until dinner. So I come down one day and I was having my tea, and I was like, why is this tea so good? This tastes amazing. And I realised it's because I wasn't thinking what I was going to have for my dinner. And that was such a huge moment for me to understand that this is the way I had been feeling since I was a young girl is not normal. It's not normal to be obsessed with food like that. And the freedom that gives you, the time that gives you back that was being stolen from you, is unbelievable. It is something you never want to go back to, and that's why I knew from the start I wanted to be successful. Not because of what a number on the scale said, not because I wanted to look smaller, but because I wanted to reclaim my life. So don't be looking for the scale or the clothes, the tag size, nothing like that. Think about what this is going to do to the rest of your life and the freedom it's going to give you. Number 10, speaking of the scale, it's a dirty liar. The scale will lie to you so much, right? It will tell you you're not losing weight. It will tell you you're gaining weight when you know you haven't. It will tell you that you've lost 5 pounds and then you've put on 3 pounds the next day. You go on holiday, you put on 10 pounds in 3 days. It's a big dirty liar, okay? Don't be worried if the scale fluctuates up or down. You know in yourself how you are eating and how you are feeling mentally. It's not just about what the number says. So try not to make that your core focus. Focus on things like your exercise wins, your nutrition wins. Are you eating more fibre than you used to? That's a win. Are you running an extra 0.1 of a kilometre? That's a win. Did you lift a 3 kilo weight today instead of a 2 kilo weight? Focus on all these little wins outside of that scale number, and you are much more likely to be successful in your long-term goals. And number 11. So this is going to sound cheesy, but it's the only way that sums it up. This journey isn't about shrinking your body. It is about expanding your life. It is about reclaiming all the parts of your life that you feel were taken from you. That you feel, even those parts of your life that you used to have maybe, that you haven't had for such a long time. The things that you were scared to do, you now have the confidence to do because you have control over your life. That is the main reason for doing this. It is about expanding your life and extending it, to be honest. I had the conversation with my husband that I was going to die in my 60s because I couldn't get control of my eating. I no longer feel like that. So it's about having a bigger, more joyful life, not about shrinking your body. So yeah, that concludes my 11 things I wish someone had told me before I started. So if you are on a Mounjaro journey or you're thinking about starting it, I really do hope this helps. Here on the channel, I do try to vlog every week my journey on the rundown to hopefully my surgery next year. So if you want to join the community, please do subscribe to the channel. I'll link my weekly vlog up here as well for anyone that's interested. And hopefully I'll see you around. Bye!